So if you have a first grader or soon to be first grader, let me just tell you, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you because this is a secret people probably don't want you to know. This is the most important year in your child's education. Boom. I just blew your mind, right? You're probably like, what? First grade? Are you serious? Yes, this is a huge year in so many different things, but most importantly, in my opinion, because I'm obsessed with reading, is learning how to read. When kids leave kindergarten, if they're on track, they should have their letters mastered. They should have a solid phonemic awareness so they can break words apart and put sounds together to make words. If they can have those two skills, that's really important at the end of kindergarten. Okay. So kids come into first grade with those. They know their letters. They have good PA. They've probably been dabbling in some short words and things like that. But by the end of first grade, your child, they're going to be really close to being a fluent reader. There's a little bit of skills they'll learn in second grade to really push them over the hunt. But man, they are going to be able to pick up books and read books on their own by the end of first grade. Isn't that insane? Like the thought of the changes that are going on in their brain in 1 year is just amazing. So I say a fluent reader by the end of first grade. Yes, they'll still be growing. They'll be learning new things in second grade. But like I said, they'll be able to open up books and read books. It's just like the best feeling. I know sitting at a table and like I have my own first grader, so he's still learning and he's right where he needs to be. But I'm thinking when I was sitting at an intervention table and I had kiddos that were struggling, and by the end of first grade, by getting the right interventions in front of them and helping them create those connections and watching them read a book on their own to me, it's embarrassing, but I would literally cry. Like some of these kids that came in and were like, I'm too stupid at the beginning of the year. I can't do this. It's too hard. I don't want to. This is boring. All those things. And then by the end of the year, they were reading to me. There's no other feeling like it. There's no other feeling like it. I want every parent to experience this because it's like this glittery, wonderful warmness that just wraps around your body. Like my child's going to be okay. My child's going to be okay. It's just so good. Anyways, we are going to talk a little bit about 3 things that parents have brought up to me, especially in first grade, that they've been wondering, like, why isn't my child fluently reading? What is going on? What am I supposed to do? These are 3 things we've heard, and I want to clear up what you can do so that you can make more intentional, informed decisions moving forward for your child so you can turn them into a fluent reader by the end of first grade. Because before I jump into this, you're like, Megan, you're 3 minutes in, get going. But really quick, it's important for parents of first graders to know. The majority of kids who leave first grade struggling, so if your child leaves first grade not where they should be, the majority of those kids always struggle with reading. It hits, right? Like it hits your heart a little bit. When your kids leave first grade, it is a strong indicator that they're always going to struggle. That's why first grade is really important, right? It's true for the reverse too. Kids who leave first grade on track are much more likely to stay on track for the rest of their education. This is huge. And that's why we're so passionate about first grade. Because if we can get them to where they need to be by the end of first grade, they're in a really good trajectory. If they're not, it's not a fun ride for anyone, especially your child. Because what happens is the learning accumulates so fast that catching up to your peers when they're way up here, like it's this curve and your child's here, it just feels really, really impossible. It's not impossible. If you have a child older than the first grade, it's not impossible, but it feels hard. It's a lot harder. And that's why we're so passionate about get these kids caught up as soon as possible. If your child left kindergarten not knowing all their letters, let's get them learning their letters now. Let's help them learn how words work now so we can set them up on a much better trajectory. Okay, let's get into the good stuff now. Oh my gosh, I just soapboxed you. I am so sorry. I do that sometimes. These are the 3 things we hear a lot from parents. 1, what is my child missing that's holding them back? My child's in first grade. They're struggling. They're not interested. What is it that's holding them back? So what you need, it's one word here. What you need to find out is is it not going to work for me? Come here. There we go. What skills are your child missing? And I'm not talking, too many teachers will be like, your child's a level D. Don't accept that answer. If your child's teacher says your child's a level D, don't accept that. Go to your child's teacher and say, okay, they're a level D. What skills do they need to work on? Have they mastered every letter? Have they mastered digraphs? How are they doing with phonemic awareness? Ask about specific skills. And I'm going to put, you should have gotten actually, and I'll put it here too, a milestones guide. Have they hit all the specific milestones? Nitty gritty milestones. I think of like if you're learning how to play the piano, you don't want to just know, and I played the piano for years, and that's why that always comes to mind. I'm looking at a piano right now, so it's sitting here. You don't want to know I'm a level D. You want to know, okay, I always miss middle C, which hopefully you don't. That's like the basic one. I always miss middle C. I just can't seem to get middle C. I need to practice and focus on middle C so that I can play all these words. Or you know what? Whenever there's a flat, I really struggle with playing flats. That's a really tricky one for me. I need to focus on flats. It's the same now with reading. You need to know specific details of what your child is missing so that you can fill in those gaps. It's imperative. We use a diagnostic assessment. It's called the Glow and Grow inside of our program that tells us every gap a child has in phonemic awareness, in letters, and in phonics so that we know what to work on for sure. We're not guessing ever on what to work on. We know we're working on the skills that your child needs. The second question here, what if my child never wants to read with me at home? Feels like we're constantly battling, or convincing is another word we hear a lot. I'm always convincing my child. I'm having to bribe them all the time. Why can't they just, they always tell me it's boring. That's the other one too, which breaks my heart. I'm like, reading is not boring, but some kids feel that way, right? So you need to work on engagement. If this is you, if you're like, you know what, I kind of know what to work on, or maybe you don't know what to work on, but also, oh, my child just battles me on it. You need to find a way to engage your child. Because can I tell you a secret here? And if you've been following us at all, you probably have heard me say this. Learning to read can and should be fun. 100%. This does not need to be a dreaded time of the day. This can be your family's favorite time of the day. There's so many ways we can gamify your child's learning. There's so many ways we can bring in your child's favorite things and interests. There's so many ways we can embed learning throughout the day so it doesn't feel like this learning time. Sometimes it does feel like learning time, but you can embed it where it's like, hey, you're brushing your teeth and you have a sticky note of like 2 words your child is, and say, you can't unlock your toothpaste until you read these words. Something silly. I don't know if you'd want the toothpaste though. You want them to brush your teeth. You know what I'm saying though? There's ways we can just, especially as a parent, sprinkle it in, make it fun, make it not even feel like learning so that your child maybe doesn't even realize like, oh my gosh, you're learning how to read right now because you just did this. And also getting in those rewards and getting in those ways to show them their progress so that they know they're making progress, showing them how far they've come, building them up, working on their mindset so that they know they believe to their core that they're going to learn how to read. That's going to change the game. We do that. I do a lot of mindset work inside of Miss Buddy Reads. That is one of my favorite things to do, is helping kids find their self-worth and their potential. I love it so much. And that is a game changer when it comes to engagement. And finally, how am I supposed to know what to do? So you as the parent, especially if you're not a teacher, we do have a lot of teachers that join our program, but we have a lot of non-teachers too. And they come in and they're like, I'm not a teacher. How am I supposed to know what to work on? How am I supposed to know what lessons and what activities and if we're actually working on the right things? This is where you need support. Truly. This is where you need someone who's been through the journey before, that has knocked those roadblocks down, because if there's one thing in life we can all see is that roadblocks happen, right? Challenges come up. I don't like to think of them as problems. I like to think of them as puzzles. Oh, a new puzzle to solve today. Just that little reframe. But having someone in your corner to answer questions, to pump you up, to celebrate the wins, to not celebrate the lows, but like get you through the lows, get you through it so you're on the other side. It's imperative. Because like I said, getting your kid reading by the end of first grade is very important. It's very important for your child, for their confidence, for their skills, for their future. So it's worth having someone on your team that can expedite the process to stop your child from feeling all that pain that they might feel if they're struggling, and to help you have that peace of mind that you know you're doing what you need to do. So those are 3 things. Think about yourself right now. Rate yourself on these 3 things. Look at skills. And let's do a stoplight. So it's a green, yellow, red. Green is like, I'm good. We got this. Yellow is like, eh. And red is like, no, I need help with this. How are you doing with skills? Do you know what skills specifically your child needs in order to become a fluent reader? Do you know what they're missing? Do you know what they have? Rate yourself. Rate yourself on engagement. Green is like, my child loves reading with me. It's never a struggle. It's never a battle. It's all good. Yellow is like, depends on the day. And red is like, no, it's a struggle. Maybe you even dread it. Or your kids do, you do, and it's just like, one more thing. Where are you with engagement? And finally, where are you with support? When you hit a roadblock, when a problem comes up, or a puzzle, we'll call it now, do you have someone to turn to? Do you know where to ask your questions? Do you know who to celebrate with? Do you have support? Rate yourself green, yellow, red. There's no bad. If you're red, it's not bad. Now you recognize it and you can go, okay, which one thing can I pick today to move us forward? Maybe I'm going to figure out what's a skill to work on, even just one skill to work on. Maybe I'm going to find a game that we can play to get my child more engaged. Maybe I can find someone to support me. So recognizing and being aware of where you need help and what you need to work on is a huge step forward. So celebrate the fact. If you're red, celebrate. Be like, great, now I know. Now I know. And if you're looking, I mentioned my Miss Buddy Reads program. If you are red in any of those areas, if you're yellow in any of those areas, check out Miss Buddy Reads. Check it out. See if it might be a good fit, because we help first graders flourish and turn them into fluent readers. We have 5 steps that your family goes through. Within the first day in the program, once you get through our assessment, you're going to know your child's skills gaps. Within the day you take that assessment, you'll know exactly their gaps. Within the first week, you're going to have a lesson done, and your child's going to already have learned a new skill. They're already going to be more excited about reading. Within the first month, you're going to see amazing progress and more independence from your child. And by the time they graduate from this program, they're going to be a fluent reader. It's wild. It's wild. And one thing I want to put out, yes, we gamify. They're short 10-minute mini lessons. We know that kids can't do long lessons. So we've taken these lessons, we've broken them up into 10-minute little chunks you can do anytime, anywhere. This is a huge one. Ongoing support for you. We hear over and over from parents, wow, I didn't know I would gain so much confidence. I feel so much better about helping my child with their education because we're supporting you along the way. This is not an app. This is not even sending your child to a tutor where the tutor does everything. No, we're working with you. We're doing all the teaching. We're working with you and giving you the skills too to continue their educational progress even beyond our program, even when they graduate. Excuse me, I do have a little cold. And finally, we are data-driven. We're evidence-based. We use your child's data to make your family's plan. This is not a cookie cutter, one size fits all. We look at your assessment and go, oh, this is what your child needs. Here it is. Watch these 10-minute videos to fill in these gaps. We're watching their progress along the way, and we're jumping in if you need our help. If we're like, oh, they didn't quite get this, here's what you're going to do. Or, hey, they're crushing this. Let's move them a little faster. We adjust the plan for you. And it's evidence-based. We use an Orton Gillingham approach. Very amazing. It's amazing the progress kids use with this approach. Originally made for people with dyslexia. Turns out it works for all brains. So whether your child's dyslexic or not, this is a great approach for them. Great for kids with ADHD. Great for kids with autism. My own son is autistic. I have him go through these lessons. He loves them and he's doing great. He's right on track where he needs to be. I feel so good about it. So if you are interested, I'm going to put information around this video. I don't know where it always ends up, so I'm just going to put around it. You can always reach out hi@developingreadersacademy.com and we'll chat about it too. But check it out. Get your kids reading because first grade is so important. It's also so fun. Like I said, it's like that glittery, magical, warm blanket you wrap around your shoulders when you watch your kids finally learn how to read. It's just this feeling. I want you to experience it. And I don't want you to give it to a tutor for a tutor to experience or a teacher. I want you as a parent to experience the feeling of watching your child unlock this life skill that they're going to need for the rest of their lives. and that feeling of they're on the path to success. They're going to do it. They're going to be okay. Like that is, as a parent, gosh, I want that for you. So yeah, reach out, let us know, jump in and try it. And I hope to see you inside. Otherwise, take all this information, work on one of those. Are you going to work on skills, engagement, or support today? Which one are you picking? Pick one right now. Pick one right now. Do something today about it. You got this. All right. I'll catch you in the next one.